Every bowl of Mama V's soup has a story, but the biggest mystery is the woman behind the ladle. In the village of Okonta, Mama V was renowned for her unforgettable pepper soup, bursting with assorted meats and often paired with rice. The meat in her soup was large and succulent, with each piece practically melting in your mouth, making it a hearty delight that no one could resist. Her soup had a unique flavor, fresh, delicious, and nearly irresistible to everyone who tasted it. On every market day, Mama V would arrive with her large cooking pots, ready to serve her eagerly waiting customers. A crowd would instantly form, with people lining up and even jostling each other, hoping to be served first. Mama V's pepper soup quickly became the talk of the village, as those who tried it couldn't stop craving more. However, what truly amazed everyone was the affordability of her dishes, given how generous she was with the portions of meat. Villagers would murmur among themselves, wondering how Mama V could make a profit while serving such large, juicy portions. Some speculated that she had a special vendor who sold her cheap meat, while others would simply laugh, saying, "Who cares? As long as we get to enjoy it, who doesn't love a good deal?" Despite her popularity, Mama V remained a mystery to the people of Okonta. Nobody knew where she lived or if she had a family. Anyone who dared to ask was either ignored or given the vague answer, "I come from the neighboring village." If anyone pushed further, she would snap, "Are you here to buy food or to gossip?" Mama V would always bark at her customers who tried to ask too many questions about her. The villagers didn't mind her attitude, they were too interested in her delicious, cheap pepper soup. This continued, and Mama V became so popular that people traveled from nearby villages just to taste her food. But soon, strange things began to happen in Okonta village. A young girl named Blessing went missing, followed by a farmer, a trader, and others. These disappearances always seemed to happen right before market day. The villagers reported to the Igu, their chief, who posted guards around the village. Yet, the cases only grew worse. Parents were afraid to send their kids to buy anything, and some even stopped sending their children to school. Everyone was scared, wondering who would be next. In the middle of this, the village continued to enjoy Mama V's pepper soup because it was too sweet to resist, and the meat was so juicy, soft, and well spiced. No one suspected Mama V. The villagers whispered that it might be an evil spirit or that the disappearances were caused by people from a neighboring village. But one day, a woman named Bisi, who was also in the pepper soup business, grew frustrated. Her sales were small, and her customers always compared her meat to Mama V's, urging her to cut her pieces larger, like Mama V did. Slowly, the few customers she had started going to Mama V instead. This made Bisi furious. So, she decided to summon the courage to ask Mama V where she got her meat, how she could afford to cut it so large and still sell it so cheap. That evening, as Mama V was packing her empty pot to leave as usual, Bisi, who had been watching, quickly rushed to meet her. "Mama V, please, I need your help. I noticed that the meat you use for your pepper soup is large, and the flavor is very good. Could you please tell me which ingredients you use and where you get your meat? I'm struggling in my business, and my customers complain that my meat is small compared to yours. Please help me." Mama V, who is always mean and harsh, shouted at Bisi, "Mind your business. Go and sort your own meat in the market, or are you looking for something to gossip about?" Disappointed, Bisi left for her shop. That evening, Bisi couldn't sleep, a lot was going through her mind. How is Mama V able to maintain her customers with her harsh tone and rude character? I really need to find out where she buys the meat she sells so cheaply and cuts into such large portions. The next day, Mama V came to the market. People gathered as usual, some pushing themselves just to be served first. Mama V sold out her food quickly, and as usual, she packed up her pot to go. Bisi, who had been patiently waiting for her to leave so she could follow her and trace her steps, believed Mama V would buy some ingredients for her pepper soup. She thought she might be lucky enough to learn where Mama V got her ingredients and meat so cheaply. Mama V carried her pot, walking quickly through the market. Bisi was a bit far behind, watching and following her carefully to avoid being noticed. Mama V kept a fast pace, heading into a forest that led to another village. Where is she going? We passed the market, and she didn't buy any ingredients. Maybe I should go back and forget about following her, BC thought. No, I need to find out. Maybe there's another market I don't know about. So she quickened her steps, trying to catch up with Mama V, who was walking deeper into the forest. Isn't this the forest the king warned us not to enter? BC remembered the king's warning to avoid the forest, as it was dangerous. Oh my God! I need to go back, BC thought, frightened. Just as she was about to turn back, hiding in the bushes so Mama V wouldn't see her, she saw Mama V enter a small hut. Is this her house? How can she live in the forest alone? I must find out more. She waited for Mama V to go inside, and after some time, she crept up and peeked through the window. Inside, she saw clothes hanging everywhere, stained with blood, and a very big drum that was open, filled with meat. Wow! What is this? She thought. How can she have so much assorted meat stored in a drum? She wondered, confused. But does she have children? Why are there bloodstains on the clothes? It suddenly occurred to her that something was terribly wrong. Just as she was about to quietly slip away, she heard, "Where do you think you're going? There's no way you'll leave this forest after knowing this much. I knew you'd follow me, and I needed more meat, that's why I let you come along. Thanks for offering yourself for free, ha ha ha." She laughed and clapped. BC was crying, asking her for forgiveness. Mama V clapped again suddenly. At the sound of Madame V's loud clap, two women dressed in black emerged from a hidden hut at the back of Madame V's hut, laughing as they joined her. BC hadn't noticed the hut before, as her main focus was on Madame V. "We are lucky today, we don't need to look for a human being to kill for meat." "Human beings? You killed human beings?" BC said, her eyes widening. "So this is why your meat is large and very cheap. You are evil, Mama V," BC said, crying and scared for her life. "Shut your mouth. If not for your busybody and long throat, you wouldn't be here. Take her inside." Mama V commanded the other two women in black. They dragged BC inside another hut filled with smelly clothes and stains of blood. "Please spare me. I am an orphan," she pleaded. But as they dragged her inside the hut, BC noticed two young children were there crying. "What are you doing here?" she asked the kids. "They kidnapped us while we were playing," they cried helplessly. BC was shocked. She now realized all the missing children were the work of Mama V. "Oh God, help me. Save me and these children," she cried, holding the two children, confused about what to do. "By tomorrow you all shall be dead," the women's voices rang in her ears. What do we do? How can I escape with these young children? A lot was going on in her mind. Mama V and the two women were outside discussing with happy faces. "These 3 humans will be enough for the week, we will make better sales with them. Can't you see how fresh BC's body is? Her meat will be so sweet, and also the little children," they laughed. "I am tired, today the market was hectic. Let me go inside the hut and rest a bit. You should watch over them and make sure they don't escape," Mama V said, leaving the two women outside to go inside the hut to rest. The two women were outside, chanting, and also tired and needed rest. "Let's use this time to sleep a little before Mama V comes out. There will be much work to do tonight, so we need to rest a bit." "Yes, you are right," the other woman said. "Mama V will not know, she might be asleep or still resting." So they went inside their own hut to sleep, while Mama V accidentally slept off in her separate hut while resting. BC, who was inside the locked hut, noticed she was no longer hearing voices. Could they be sleeping? BC said, her heart beating in fear. "I need to do something, I cannot die. God forbid," she said. She noticed the key was locked outside the hut. "Oh, how can I open this? Can my head pass through the door?" one of the children said. The hut door had a little space that something small could enter. "Okay, try and see if you can pass from there, but please be quiet so they will not notice." The boy lay flat, trying to roll with his legs and body like a snake through the hut door. Luckily, he was making progress. BC was worried, hoping it would work. Fortunately, he managed to pass through it. Luckily for them, the key was just there and not padlocked. "Is the key locked?" BC asked the boy, who was outside already. "Thank God. They forgot to lock it." "Okay, please gently remove the lock." "Thank Jesus," BC said. The boy, Uche, gently opened it. BC dragged the other kid and Uche out. Please, we have to run from here as far as we can. The journey is far. If they notice we are outside, we are doomed. Can we do this? Uche and the girl said, yes, with happier faces. So they gently tiptoed and walked slowly through the huts so that Madame V would not find out. Immediately they passed through Madame V's hut, they walked slowly a bit. It's time to speed up. We are out of the evil hut. So speed up. They started running as far as they could, keeping to the dark and crossing the bushes. The girl child started crying, I'm tired. BC had to carry her while running. Luckily for them, as they were approaching the road, there was a bike man who was out late at night. Without minding who the man was, BC said, please help us, looking tired and scared. What happened? Let's just go. They are coming. Who is coming? Please, let's go. Okay, hop in. BC and the children hopped inside the bike and the man drove fast. Where are you going? Please just take me to the king's palace. Just go there direct, you will know what happened there. Okay, Ma, he said. He drove more quickly to the king's palace. The king was already asleep after a long day. Where is the king? BC said furiously as she came down from the bike. The king's palace guard was outside. Who are you? Please go inside and tell the king I know the people kidnapping our people. You know who? The palace guard asked, their faces shocked, likewise the bike man. Are you sure of what you are saying? The guard said. Yes, please go before they escape. One of the palace guards went inside the king's room and knocked. My king, there is a woman outside, she said she knows the people kidnapping our children. What? How true is this? The king said. He jumped up from his bed and rushed out to meet the woman. When BC saw him, she ran to him. Please. We need to act fast. They might escape. What do you mean? Calm down and explain. BC explained every detail to the king, who was so surprised, confused, and also happy. Guards, he shouted. Follow this woman and make sure you go with your machetes. Anyone that refuses to follow you will either be brought alive or dead. Go quickly. The king took the two children inside the palace. The bike man left with a smile, eager to share the good news with his family. BC and the two bodyguards walked quickly to catch up with the women before they could disappear. Madame V woke up and went outside. To her surprise, she couldn't see the two women. Where are they? She thought. She quickly went to their hut and woke them up. I thought I asked you two to look after the woman and the kids. Please go and check on them so we can begin the process, she urged. The women immediately ran to the hut, and as they approached from afar, they noticed the hut was wide open. They ran inside, only to find, to their surprise, that BC and the two children were not there. We are finished. They are gone, one of the women shouted, crying. Mima V, hearing their voices from afar, rushed over to see what was happening. To her surprise, she saw the two women crying without BC being there. What is happening here? Where are they? She asked, her face scared of the unknown. We just went to sleep. We don't know what happened, the women replied. What do you mean you don't know what happened? This is carelessness. Mima V shouted angrily. We need to leave this village for another village. The villagers will come after us. They will surely come for us. Madame V said, scared. The women rushed into their hut and started packing their few things. BC and the two guards were already close to Mama V's hut when Mama V and the two women came out to run. Surprisingly, BC and the two men were already there waiting for them. Catch them, BC said, pointing at Mama V, who was trying to run as the guards were coming for them. Mama V and the two women were captured by the king's bodyguards and warned not to make any moves. They were taken straight to the king's palace. The king, who was outside waiting for them, ordered the palace guard to lock the women up. He would handle their matter the next morning since it was getting late. The palace guards took the women inside a room, locked them up, and left. The king thanked BC and promised to reward her. He also promised to invite the villagers to his palace to make his announcement. Inside the room, Mima V looked up, fear written all over her face. You see what you caused. What is our fate now? Mima V said angrily to the two women. See what your carelessness has caused me. It was a moment of sadness for the three women. The next morning, the king ordered the town crier to go out and make an announcement. He was to invite the villagers to his palace urgently. The town crier left and went all over the village that morning, announcing the king's message. Later, the villagers were summoned to the king's palace. The king ordered his servants to bring the three evil women out. They were brought out and faced the villagers. People were surprised to see Madame V looking so unkempt and tied up with the two women. There were murmurs among the crowd. These evil women are the reason people have been missing. For those of you that have been patronizing this woman, just know that you have been eating human meat, they shouted in shock and fear. You are evil. You deserve to be stoned to death, the villagers said, some crying while others cursed them. The king explained every detail of what had happened as BC had described. Anyway, I summoned you all to know there will be peace from now on in our village. You can see we have caught the kidnappers and will ensure I deal with them. You can now go back to your various houses. The villagers left, some happy that the culprits had been found while others cried, not believing they had been eating human meat all this while. The king rewarded BC with goats, yams, and money for her help, while the two kidnapped children were taken to their parents by the palace guard. Madame V and the two women were taken all around the village. People were throwing stones and water at them, calling them evil. The king ordered them to be locked up in a very dark room where they would stay without food or water until they eventually died of starvation, not seeing the earth or drinking water. Madame V and the two women were taken inside the room, where the palace guards flogged them every day without food or water. The village of Okonta now became peaceful, with no more cases of missing children. After months of Madame V and the two women being locked up and flogged without food or water, they eventually died, and their bodies were thrown out in the evil forest where bad people are buried. The people of Okonta became more careful about what they bought and ate. BC, who now understood that life is a gradual process, began making progress in her business, believing that not all that glitters is gold. The moral of this story is to be mindful of what you eat. Never kill anyone as a replacement for meat. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to our channel, like, share, and comment. Also, click the notification bell so you'll be notified when I post more interesting stories like this. See you in our next video. Bye bye.